Have you ever felt like you're down to your last drop? Like you've given everything you have, and it's still not enough? Maybe you're facing a mountain of debt, a family crisis, or a dream that seems to be slipping away. You look at what's in your hands, and it feels so small, so insignificant. You think, what can I possibly do with this? I want to share a story with you today, a powerful story from the Bible that speaks directly to that feeling of helplessness. It's found in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 4, and it's about a widow who was in a desperate situation. Her husband, a man who had followed the prophet Elisha, had died, leaving her with 2 sons and a crushing debt. The creditor was coming to take her sons as slaves. Can you imagine the terror and despair she must have felt? She had nothing left. She ran to Elisha, the man of God, and cried out for help. Elisha asked her a simple but profound question. What do you have in your house? She replied, Your servant has nothing in the house, except a little jar of oil. That's it, a single, small jar of oil against a mountain of debt that threatened to tear her family apart. It seemed like a hopeless situation, but this is where the story turns. Elisha didn't focus on what she lacked, he focused on what she had. He told her, Go, borrow vessels from everywhere, from all your neighbors' empty vessels, do not gather just a few. And when you have come in, you shall shut the door behind you and your sons. Then pour it into all those vessels, and set aside the full ones. This must have sounded like a strange request. Borrow empty jars. Why? But in her desperation and faith, she obeyed. She went to her neighbors, gathered as many empty jars as she could, brought them into her home, and shut the door. Then, with just her 2 sons as witnesses, she took her little jar of oil and began to pour. And a miracle happened. The oil didn't stop. It flowed from her small jar, filling one vessel, then another, and another. Imagine the look on her sons' faces, the awe in her own eyes as she watched this impossible event unfold. She kept pouring until every single borrowed jar was full. When the last jar was filled, she turned to her son and said, Bring me another vessel. And he said, There is not another vessel. It was only then that the oil stopped flowing. The supply didn't run out. The space to receive it did. She went back to Elisha and told him what had happened. He said, Go, sell the oil and pay your debt, and you and your sons live on the rest. Not only was her debt paid and her sons saved, but she was also given enough to live on. The miracle provided for her immediate need and her future. This story isn't just about ancient history, it's about a timeless principle. God doesn't need our abundance, He needs our availability. He doesn't need our strength, He needs our surrender. That widow thought she had nothing, but she had a little oil. And when she surrendered that little bit to God and obeyed His instruction, He multiplied it beyond her wildest imagination. So, what's in your house? What's the little oil that you have? Maybe it's a small talent, a bit of time, a little money, a single idea, or just a heart willing to obey. It might feel insignificant to you. You might be tempted to dismiss it, to think it's not enough to make a difference. But God specializes in taking our not enough and turning it into more than enough. The key is to stop focusing on the size of your resource and start focusing on the size of your God. Don't look at the emptiness of the jars around you. Look at the fullness of the God who is with you. Your small act of kindness can ripple out in ways you'll never see. Your small offering, given in faith, can fund a miracle. Your small step of obedience can lead to a breakthrough. What you have right now in your hand is the seed of your miracle. The question is, are you willing to pour it out? Are you willing to trust that when you give what you have to God, He will not only use it, but multiply it? Surrender your little bit to Him today. Take that step of faith, borrow those empty jars by preparing for a blessing, and watch what He does. Because in God's hands, little is always much. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this story encouraged you, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content that I hope will inspire your faith. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's the little oil you re-surrendering to God today? God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.